Contributor Tammy Bruce. Tammy, your reaction to CNN's vitriol. I mean, it was nothing but pure vitriol coming out of them.
Yeah, it's they're poisoned. They're poisoned by hate. There's no normal explanation for this kind of behavior, for the nature of what they're complaining about. They speak of things that are the complete opposite that the rest of Americans are seeing. In fact, yesterday's speech was one of his best. We know the Normandy speech was extraordinary. The State of the Union speeches have actually received bipartisan praise as well. And yet they continue to want to paint a man that doesn't exist. And it's not as though we're only reliant on what they describe. I think a lot of the news media is used to us relying on them for the reality of things. But now we have different media. People are watching the speech. If they don't air a speech, which the major networks did not do, we're still able to see it online, whether it's a social media platform or from the White House itself. So I think it was not only an extraordinary speech, but it really did have a reflection. It's odd about, a president's supposed to tell us where we're headed. Clearly, this president has reformed this nation already, is moving. It was an optimistic speech, unifying, a remarkably unifying speech. And I think at this point, the legacy media is speaking to an empty room.
Well, they were talking about the tone of the speech, suggesting that it was sophomoric, that there's something corny about being patriotic. I would suggest, by the way, there's a book that I'm reading, a new David McCullough book.
Sure.
About the pioneers, the post-revolutionary pioneers, those who went west into Ohio. To go in and explore areas that were completely unknown.
But don't you see, David?
And there's nothing corny about David McCullough. David McCullough gets into the nitty-gritty historical details, finds out that these were extraordinary individuals, but CNN would say, oh, it's sophomoric, it's corny.
Well, but you see, those people didn't go to Harvard. Right? This is a point of view of contempt of the nation itself. We can't deny now that they just don't like us. It seemed to be apparent in the 2016 election, but it's now they've swung the curtain back here where they don't like the president because he's a representation of us. I think that's the core of this problem. And at the same time, the American people know what's needed. We saw with the job numbers today. It also, with the wage growth, the optimism that consumes us, the foreign policy that is managing tyrants around the world. I think the American people see what the truth of the matter is.
I wonder if these people who are so smart that they can criticize American patriotism as something corny and sophomoric really know the history. I just think they're ignorant about exactly what these people have done. That's why they should, each one of them, I would pay out of my own pocket to buy each one of those critics a copy of David McCullough's book.
They're not interested because that is, for them, is passé. The problem that they don't realize is that they've been left behind. And they're scrambling at this point. It's unfortunate. I don't like the fact that, and it's sad as an American, that so many people are consumed with this poison, but now it's going to be up to them to get out of it.
That's the word. Poison. It's poison. All right. The census issue, we've had a back and forth on where that's going. What do you think of what the president's saying about that?
Well, there's already been one report of a former federal judge saying, look, with Article 2, the president it would likely be upheld very strongly by the Supreme Court of his right to do this. And this is clearly a question also that has not been on the census. This is something that was also included during Barack Obama's terms within that larger census, the American survey about if you were a citizen. It's been on recently. So we need to be able to do this. It's clearly a question that's relevant to the economy and to safety and to just the nature of who's in the country. It is something that's of interest not just to the executive branch, but to the people as a whole. So I think he's going to act. That's his nature. And it'll be, I think, a good action to take.
Did you have a good July 4th?
Well, it was fabulous. I am grateful every time I wake up in this nation. I know most people are. And it's an exciting time to be an American.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Great to see you, Tammy.
Thank you.